I've given myself 2 days to read 3 books. Why do I do it to myself?
It was therapeutic for me. I don't regret it.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're well, and what is behind me? Let's all talk about it. Actually, we have to.
Today is like Roman's revenge.
So I, for some reason, thought it would be a good idea to wrap up all my books that aren't already set aside for other planned reading vlogs. To wrap them all up, which took a couple of hours. I did get Tom to help me, listen, can't do it all on my own. And I'm gonna unwrap some, and I'm gonna read what I unwrap. I don't know why I even thought this was a good idea, because I'm just gonna have to unwrap the ones I'm reading and then unwrap all the other ones anyway.
Stupid.
It's so stupid. But like, I'm not gonna lie, kind of feels like Christmas. Like, looking at them all, I'm like, oh my god, what books do I own? This is so exciting. There's one book that I really want to read. I really want to read Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray, and I can just never fit it into videos. When I was wrapping them, I was like, oh, it's gonna be so easy for me to tell which one's which. But it's not.
What are you feeling right now?
Embarrassed.
So I know it's a hardback. They're very similar in terms of size. I feel like if I actually find it, it would look like I've cheated. I really don't know. I thought I'd know. I thought I'd know. I have a good feeling about this one. This is so stupid. It's like Christmas, but also I'm so nervous because I don't want to get a book I don't want to read. We're unwrapping this one. I'm not gonna look. You're gonna get to see whatever it is before me. Oh, I don't think it is it. It's not it! It's not it!
And I can't even look at the wall without thinking sad things.
Oh, I thought I'd got it! I'm fine with this though. I have been wanting to read Nevernight, and the amount of money I spent on this book, it's about time I read it. Because this is the like Illumicrate special edition, so it's signed. I got this like a year ago. At the time, I just feel like I panic bought things a lot that I knew were popular and I'd want to read one day. I kind of regret the purchase. I could have just bought the paperback, if we're honest with ourselves. This is by Jay Kristoff, who I have mixed feelings about Jay Kristoff, I'm not gonna lie. He's been rude to some of my friends. I wasn't a fan of him for doing that, but he did write Illuminae, which is one of my favorite series ever. But like, I've got to read the book now. I know it's about a girl called Mia who is like a teenage assassin, and something I really am looking forward to is the footnotes in this. I love the idea of footnotes. I'm like a whore for footnotes. That's our first one that we're reading. Let's open a white one. I don't know why, but this one is speaking to me. It's like a smaller hardback. Oh! Yay, okay, I'm excited. I'm really excited to read this.
I'm really happy with what I'm seeing.
I got Hood Feminism by Mickey Kendall. So this is a non-fiction book about feminism, about how white feminism leaves its POC women behind, you know, like white feminism is literally only for white women, and how we need a feminism that is inclusive of all. I love reading non-fiction. I haven't read a lot of non-fiction lately. I am doing an intersectional feminism course this semester, and like I'm literally just about to start that. Ooh, I'm happy with that one. I'm happy with that one. Okay, I'm choosing well. I want to get a paperback next. Okay, I think I'm gonna go with this one.
I'm really happy today. Yeah. This is for all of us.
It's Loveless by Alice Oseman. Oh my god, thank god, thank god. Okay, I have read all of Alice Oseman's novels, but this is the first one I'm going to be reading physically. I usually read them on audiobook, but this one I wanted to get as soon as it came out. So this is about a girl called Georgia who thinks that she's asexual or aromantic and is going to university, and it's kind of the story of her going to uni and figuring out her sexuality and who she is. And I've heard kind of mixed things about this in terms of the representation. I think it's a very personal book. I think Alice Oseman has said it's like her most personal book that she has written. People I follow who are asexual, some of them really identifying with the representation and some of them really not, which I think is natural because there is not just one representation of asexuality. But I'm very intrigued with this myself, and I'm glad that I've picked a contemporary. I think I'm gonna start with Nevernight, you know? I think I'm in kind of the fantasy mood. I'm terrified, but like, fingers crossed. It has been ages since I last checked in with you. I had to film my Bookopoly vlog, which I'll leave linked in between, like starting this video and now. I have not read enough of Nevernight. I'm only just over 100 pages in, and that's with like 5 days where I was supposed to be reading this, and I haven't. I'm enjoying this, but I'm just finding it really, really hard to read it, like to want to read it. There's nothing wrong with it, I'm just finding it a bit heavy and a bit difficult to want to read it. I really like the character of Mia, but the writing is definitely very, how do I put this? It's writing that knows it's clever.
Oh, no, it's cool.
Is that a read or what?
And usually I enjoy that, but right now, I don't know, I'm not. I feel like the writing is a bit pompous. But yeah, I really like the character of Mia. She's just gotten to the Red Church, which is the school of assassins. I think the real reason that this first section hasn't been super engaging to me is because there hasn't been much plot. We've kind of started off with just traveling, and I'm not a big fan of traveling sections in books, particularly right at the start. So I'm hoping now that she's at the Red Church, the assassin school is going to get a lot more interesting. We were learning a lot about her backstory, and I just kind of felt it wasn't necessary. Hopefully I'll enjoy it more as I get into it. We're gonna go out for a walk now to a place called Kirkstall Abbey. Spooky! Okay, so it's now much later. It is, I think it's almost 10:30. So after this, I'll probably only read for like another half hour anyway, but I just wanted to check in before I go to sleep. I am now just over halfway into Nevernight. I am on page 217. I was right. It is getting much better. I am sorry to editing me. You had to zoom in on every much there.
Editing me to pass me.
Now, you know what? You were the one person I didn't want to see today because I really want to slap you now.
I knew as soon as I got into this scholarly environment that I would enjoy it a lot more, and I was right. I just think that first part is so unnecessary and like really brings down the pace. The pace is a million times better once you get into the Red Church, so I'm enjoying it so much more. Mia is a very dark protagonist. I've read protagonists that have kind of started off with a softer side, and then you see their descent into like negative decisions. But Mia like kind of keeps a very strong head on her shoulders throughout all that I've read. Like she's not changing her perspective on things necessarily, and she is not becoming less pragmatic, but she is like, she wants to kill people for a living. Like she just wants to kill people. So that is definitely a very interesting perspective to read from, and I really love the character of Mr. Kindly. I think Mr. Kindly is fucking bomb. I want more of Mr. Kindly. I think he's so funny.
She's incredible. She's a beautiful person. Her talent and brilliance is beyond.
And every time I read this with my bookmark with Mr. Kindly on it, I'm just like, you legend. I love you. The writing I'm getting a bit more into now, but I just don't have that like 5-star feeling with it. And when I went on Goodreads, legit everyone who I'm friends with has rated it 5 stars, apart from like 1 or 2 1 stars. There's a lot of characters who I'm very interested to see where they go. I really like Trick, who is Mia's kind of like closest friend at the Red Church. Alea, is that how you say her name? The teacher of seduction. I really like her. I think she's a dope character as well. It does read very slow. You will not fly through this book. Like, I've literally been reading it for hours tonight, and it has been a bit of a slog to get through. I just really love the atmosphere of this. The kind of dark, gothic atmosphere is really good for the first day of autumn. I feel like it's setting the vibes. I feel like I'm really trying to read books that give me that dark autumnal vibes. I think I did a pretty good job of it last autumn. Like, I read The Diviners, the first one in the Diviners series, which is why I want to read this so bad. One day soon, I promise you I'll fit you into a video. And Ninth House, oh my god, Ninth House is the perfect autumn read. I'm so sad I don't have it with me because I would totally reread that right now. I have just found out that Loveless, which is the next book I'm going to be picking up, is on Scribd. You don't understand how excited that made me because I have read all other of Alice Oseman's novels on Scribd, on audiobook, and so it did feel weird going into this not reading it via audiobook, or at least somewhat. So I think I'm going to start that tomorrow morning, like listen to a chapter or two. I will predominantly read it physically, but I probably won't check in with you about this until I finish Nevernight. So it's now actually Friday.
Oh, shut up. You're boring.
Who are you talking
You're
to?
boring.
I've given myself 2 days to read 3 books. Why do I do it to myself?
It was therapeutic for me. I don't regret it.
No, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine, she says. I'm only 100 pages from the end, so like I've only got that little bit left to read. This book does take forever to read. It's a long ass book. It went down a couple routes that I wasn't anticipating. I can't lie to you. I was a bit shocked.
So we all Gag Nation on this.
I'm kind of used to the footnotes. Like, I love the idea of the footnotes, but I just don't know if I love the execution of them or just the footnotes in general, because it does take you out of the story. I love it, right? I love it when it's these little short footnotes, like a little snide comment. But when you're giving me half a page of like historical information in a footnote, I just can't be arsed. Like, I feel like it could have been cut. I'm gonna go finish it and then we'll get on to our other 2 books. I feel like Nevernight has been going on for like 10 years in this vlog. I'm sorry. Lighting's okay. I finished Nevernight.
Finally!
At the end of the day, all I want to say is thank you, Lady Gaga.
I really enjoyed it in the end. I think it's not a 5-star, it's like a 4.5 or maybe a 4.25. I really loved, not like the direct ending, but like page 330 to maybe like 380 was my favorite part, and then like the end, the last 40 pages. I still enjoyed, but like I thought the strongest part was the trials near the end. I think if you enjoy fantasy books with dark heroines, with a bit of gore, a lot of fighting, really, really rich fantastical worlds, like I would really recommend that you pick this up. I am so glad I finally picked it up. So my unwrapping experiment is just the stupidest thing ever. It's gone quite well so far. I understand that the book is intended to be kind of cold and negative. That's kind of like the outlook that the book has. However, certain things happen towards the end that I don't feel like got the attention they deserved. Something's happened and it was like, oh, that's life, when we had put so much investment into certain characters and certain plot lines for that to be kind of like torn away. However, I love it in books when there's something that the main character knows or like other key characters know that you don't know, and it gets revealed to you, but people in the story already knew that and were like acting upon things that they knew that you didn't. I love that. I love that so much. I love it so much.
I want to jump up and down, I want to do a dance, and then I want to have the glass of champagne that I put in the fridge last night.
Like when the characters are keeping secrets from you, oh, And that happened a lot towards the end, and I just lived for it. Every time another reveal was pulled out the bag, I lived for it. I think it will take me a while to get around to the next one just because they do take you so long to read. You don't understand how much I look forward to chapter breaks. Like when a new chapter occurs, you get like half a page cut off because you reached into the chapter as like a little reward. There's none of that. Like a chapter just flows into the next one. Like you don't get any respite, and that really makes it feel like it's reading so much longer. I also understand like why people feel uncomfortable about this like adult male author writing these like in-depth sex scenes about a 16-year-old girl. However, if you've got all of those teenagers together in one place, it would be unrealistic for that stuff not to happen. Would recommend, really enjoyed it. Very glad that I have finally picked up the first in this series, and I do love this edition. I am already 30% of the way into Loveless. I know. My talents know no bounds.
God has smiled on me. Yes, he has.
So that was basically just through the audiobook. Audiobooks are God's gift to the earth. Thank God for audiobook. Essentially, we are following Georgia as she goes to university, and she has never kissed anyone. She's never had a proper crush on anyone. She's never been in love, and she is like, I'm gonna go uni and I'm gonna have a crush. I'm gonna kiss someone. I'm gonna fall in love. You know, she wants to experience all of these things. From my understanding, this book is very much about her learning about terms such as asexuality and being aromantic, kind of learning that about herself. I am enjoying it. I always love reading Alice Oseman's books on audiobook, but I don't know if I'm completely vibing with this one. I don't know if it's a different narrator than before. Some of the dialogue is just feeling a bit cringy. I hate to say it, but it's just feeling a bit forced and a bit not how people speak. But then maybe people do speak like that, and I'm just like an old woman who doesn't leave the house anymore.
I do not want to comment.
Why? Why?
I also don't know if there's going to be any plot other than Georgia goes to university and tries to figure out her sexuality. Like, I don't know if there's going to be much more plot to it than that. As someone who isn't asexual or aromantic, I obviously can't speak on the rep in this. I would really encourage you, I'll try and link down below some Own Voices rep, both positive and negative. It's late, I'm tired, my eyes are doing that bloodshot thing they always do whenever I'm tired. I am now on page 287 of Loveless, so I only have that little bit left. And let me tell you, the thing that Alice Oseman does so well is like the teen experience. Alice Oseman's books are just like, oh my god, that was me. In a lot of ways, you see yourself as someone from the UK in them. I believe this is her first one that is set at university, and let me tell you, she is summing up university. Like, university kind of ain't shit. It's not terrible, but like it's cracked up to be this incredible thing, and then when you get here, you're kind of like,
I hate it here.
I think Alice Oseman is just very good at like writing realistic young people going through realistic young people things. I keep thinking, thank God this book has been written, because I can't remember any time I have read a book with an asexual main character, and it's just very interesting, and I'm really glad that that representation is starting to be seen, because even if asexuality is mentioned in a book, it's often like a very minor side character, and like that is literally never even it is mentioned. And so for a main character to be exploring that and to be figuring themselves out, I'm just really glad that this exists for the people who relate to it. Another thing Alice Oseman does really well is friendships. She does platonic friendships the best.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Yup. She ate that up.
No one tops her. No one does YA friendship like Alice Oseman. I'm sorry, you can't tell me otherwise. Like, you just can't. There's no room for debate here. Morning! Now I'm actually filming. I just spoke for ages, not even filming. I went for a run this morning, came back, got ready, and finished Loveless. I really enjoyed it, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I am so glad that this book exists. I think it's brilliant that there's this young adult book teaching young people and kids all about asexuality and aromanticism. I don't know what the right end terminology is there. And what this book does so well is showing you that there's so many different types of love out there. There's so many different types of love experienced in this, and I just adored that. It was just so fun to read another Alice Oseman book. They just all feel like coming home. I really enjoyed one being in a university setting. I hope she does more university setting ones in the future, because all the other ones have been like in secondary school or like sixth form. I really loved seeing a bit of an older protagonist in a very different setting, and university is like something that I don't actually think UK YA explores a lot, because obviously often protagonists are younger. For a lot of people, so much happens at university that is so different and like figuring themselves out. So I really liked seeing all our characters go through that. I did love it. I will forever read anything Alice Oseman writes or produces or makes. Anything that comes out of her hands or mind, I will consume. So I would really recommend it, and I think it did a really great job also of defining asexuality and being aromantic and the differences between them, and how someone can be both or they can be one or not the other, and just showing young kids who are probably struggling with this themselves that it's okay and you're going to be okay, and it's actually a wonderful thing to realize that. So now we are on to our last book, which I'm actually so incredibly excited for. It's Hood Feminism by Mikki Kendall. I am just in the mood for some non-fiction. I haven't read non-fiction in time.
It's been 84 years.
And my feminism course, which I'm taking at uni this year, starts in a couple of days, so I feel like this is the perfect thing to like get me in the mood. And I just love reading about feminism and feminism literature and diverse intersectional feminist literature. Somehow it is 9:15 at night. I have no clue how that's happened. And I'm only 100 pages into Hood Feminism. I have been tabbing this. Oh my god. That looks crazy. I have been tabbing this like crazy. Behind all of these tabs is a lot of highlighting. Don't hate me, but I'm not gonna finish this in this video. I am reading this particularly with the view of for my university course, and I just need to read this like as if it's something I'm studying, not something I'm reading for personal enjoyment, if that makes sense. So it's something I need to like schedule time for and take notes for and just be in that mindset, rather than something I'm trying to read when I'm chilling out. So I hope that's okay. I hope no one feels like I've quit. I am really enjoying it though. I think it's going to be like a 4-star. I'll talk to you about my thoughts on it for now, but I think I am going to start doing wrap-ups again. I think everyone enjoys them so much, and I don't understand why you'd want to, because like almost every book I read, bar a few audiobooks, are in my reading vlogs. However, I'm going to start doing them because obviously not everyone watches every reading vlog, and I know they're really popular and people love them. So this will be in my September wrap-up. So you'll hear my final thoughts on it then. But when I'm thinking of it now, I'm really, really enjoying it. There's so many passages that I'm like, wow, that just sums it up. Like a thought I've had or a concept I'm familiar with, but like hasn't quite been summed up in that right way. And Mikki Kendall was just managing to like put all the words in the right place and just sum it up perfectly.
Mikki Kendall.
I am so powerful. My mind, it amazes me sometimes.
So far we have covered topics like gun violence, poverty and hunger, rape. Then we had one on patriarchy, and now we're having one on like the representations of black women in media and in books and stuff. One section that I found particularly insightful, examination of why patriarchy exists in the form of it that it does in black communities. Mikki Kendall was talking about how there is this strict like patriarchal code in a lot of black communities where the man is the head of the household because within the home is the only place that the black man can like feel respect and the power that the rest of society denies him. And yeah, I just really found that a really interesting perspective that I hadn't heard of before. I think this is a really good beginner's feminist nonfiction text. I feel like it's really broken down in like key facts, key issues that if you read a lot of feminism literature you may be familiar with, but it needs to be broken down for the people who like are just beginning their journey in feminist literature. And so there are a few times when I wish we could go a bit more into depth on some things. Like there's been a few times where I'm like, I've read that kind of thing before and I just want a bit more depth. But on the whole, this is great. As you can see by how much I'm tabbing it, like I'm literally tabbing almost every single page. Would really recommend it so far, but I'm not gonna rush it and I'm gonna read it and take notes and like use it as part of my university curriculum. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought of this experiment of wrapping up all of my books. I think I got pretty lucky with the books I pulled. I think I got really lucky actually. Let me know if you think I should do wrap-ups. I did do a poll on Twitter and the vast majority of people said yes, but literally every book I will be speaking about will have been in a vlog. That is the only thing. So yeah, let me know. And I will see you very, very soon in another video. Bye!